Arjavam, and the next value is Acharya Upasana. Okay? So therefore, if you really look at the translation of that, it seems like what? Some kind of a service to the teacher. Yeah. And first, let me tell you what it is not, and then let me tell you what it is. Right? This Guru Shishya Parampara, it's a huge parampara. Right? And actually, it's very interesting. Even in Harvard, they now use the word Guru. That is a management guru. So that means this whole guru, who is a guru you think? Who is a guru? The one who has beard? The one who is wearing some orange clothes? You know, I just recently did a retreat in Thailand and somebody had come from Singapore, and on the first day I was asked, so why aren't you a sannyasini? Right? So therefore, our whole guru, what is interesting is that who is a guru? How do we judge who is a guru?
Knowledge.
Excellent. Now the one who has knowledge, now how do you recognize the one who has knowledge?
The one who imparts it well.
Imparts.
Absolutely, right?
Which
So
one?
generally
Who imparts it well.
we tend to have a cliche of a guru with, you know, some kind of clothes they wear or some kind of, external appearance they have. But actually a guru is the one who imparts knowledge. Okay? The very word guru, there is a very beautiful explanation in Sanskrit about what guru means. Gukaraha, andhakaraha, rukaraha, nivartakaha. Andhakara nirodhitvat guruhu iti abhidhiyate. Beautiful. Guruhu iti abhidhiyate. This person is called guru. Who is the guru? What job does the guru do? Andhakaraha is darkness of ignorance. The darkness of ignorance which makes you not see things clearly. Rukaraha nivartakaha. The darkness of ignorance, what does the guru do?
Removes.
Removes the darkness of ignorance so that you are able to see the reality. You are able to see the light. It empowers you. Doesn't make you dependent upon that person. Any guru who says, what? You are somewhere down there and I am the high one and you have to come and serve me, then you will be saved. Doesn't know what they are talking about. Where is the starting point of Vedanta? You are the whole. You are limitless. What is the job of a guru? To make you see that you are the whole. Right? Where is the question of subservience? Where is the question? You are totally empowered to be a whole. What agenda does teacher have? Tell me, what does the teacher gain by giving you this knowledge of your own limitlessness?
Satisfaction.
Only reward is satisfaction. Really. Because the minute you yourself begin to see the little, even if you don't remove the ignorance, little ignorance that you begin to shed off, how empowered you feel. How empowered.
You plant the seed.
Sorry?
Plant the seed.
Plant the seed. And it grows, and it grows, and it grows. Until the time that you have total clarity about who you are. Right? So therefore, there are no clutches in Vedanta. Guru does not become what? Somebody on whom you get dependent right? To what?
Solve your problem.
Solve your life problems. You are given clarity to be able to handle your life. Very different. This is why I don't know if you even register what I am saying, but I keep on telling one thing, that Vedanta is not about the teacher giving you advice about what you should do and what you should not do. Vedanta is all about what? Clarity. Make you see things clearly, in light of which what? You are able to handle your life. Very different. Okay? The real teacher is the one who makes what? You, after a few years, a teacher yourself. So that means now the Shishya, after having what? Received the teaching, becomes what? The Guru. There is no one Guru who always stays a Guru and the other one always remains a Shishya. This is a catch. You are always a Shishya, you never can graduate to be a Guru. Here, what? Everything that is there is transferred without any what? Without any secrets.
Mysteries.
No mysteries, no power games,
No hidden agenda.
no hidden agenda. Just what? Giving, this is what Surya was saying, Gnana Ganga. Gnana Ganga means it's a perennial flow of knowledge. Transferred from one person to the other, now that person gets totally empowered and transfers it all to another person. And this whole thing is arranged within a grand universal order of Ishvara. Okay, so Guru plays a very important role. Now, every Guru, even if you go to a primary teacher, that person also removes your ignorance, right? You didn't know even how to count 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So this is why Yuta this morning was showing you that you do this and you do that and then you figure out how it is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, right? So even that, from primary school till college or advanced education, every teacher has removed some ignorance, right? So many different levels. We were born not knowing anything. And every teacher has helped us to remove some ignorance. But what was the subject matter of that ignorance? Subject matter of that ignorance is anything which is related to what? Anything that you can objectify. Right? So when you study, as I told you, it is all based on what? Pratyaksha and Anumana. Every knowledge that you have studied. Okay? So it's always about something which is other than you. Okay? Now, in knowing everything which is other than you, the I, the nature of I, is never covered. The nature of I, who gets to know different things, is never covered. So that's why you keep on acquiring and acquiring and acquiring, and actually there is no end. Because how many disciplines are there in this world? Thousands of disciplines, right? By the time you enroll in university, you already have to choose. You can't say, I want to learn everything about everything. So what are the divisions? You can either, like when I was growing up in Bombay, there were 3 major things, right? Commerce, science and arts. So that's all, we had no other option. Nowadays you have so many other options, right? Now you said, okay, now that's too big a division, so now let's just, within that, how many different disciplines? And even when you select science, then what you're again asked to narrow. Whether you want to do physics, you want to do chemistry, or you want to do biology. Then you take biology and then you have to still, what? You want to be a doctor or you want to be a whatever, I don't know, what is it? Microbiologist. Then you, okay, now that doctor itself, then after 4 years or 5 or 6 years of MBBS, then what do you want to specialize in? Because that's not enough. You want to be an orthopedic surgeon, or you want to be an ophthalmologist, or you want to be, well, I don't know, whatever, right? Pediatrician or neonatologist, right? So you can, so that means in the ignorance that you are removing about something which is not you, what happens?
You forget about you.
Not only you forget, there is no, you don't cover who you are, but it's endless. And because it is endless, what do?
It's narrower and
You just, exactly, you get narrower and narrower and narrower because you can't possibly focus on everything. And within that narrower and narrower, do you finish ever?
No.
Ask any physicist, ask any medical doctor, and they will tell you, the more we know how much we don't know. That's why there is always a lot of research going on and so many new discoveries are taking place. Recently, in Times of India, there was this article about 100 years have passed since Albert Einstein came up with his theory of relativity. And this is one theory which has stayed very long. Otherwise, every theory gets what? Revised after a while. Somebody else discovers something else and it's endless. So not only it gets narrower, but within that narrower field what? There is no end. So that means, do you ever understand everything totally?
No.
You never do. And in fact, you get more and more and more specialized and you eliminate more and more and more things. So each guru is helping you to remove ignorance, but in the total picture, how much ignorance have they removed?
Very small.
Very, very small parts. Right? Now in this whole inquiry, the I, which gets missed out, is the key. And nobody helps you to remove that. And you don't even suspect that there is something to be removed. Now you have a guru who helps you to first recognize that this is a problem. And also, what? Tells you that actually it's not even a real problem. It is a problem of adhyasa. It's your own non-understanding of I which is the problem. And then slowly, what does it do? Help you to get rid of what? Ignorance, so that you can see that you are the whole. Whole means, this morning we were saying limitless. Limitless. Compare this knowledge with every other knowledge where what is happening? There is removal of ignorance, but how? Narrower and narrower and endless. Here it is what? Limitless, and the knowledge of you, I. What a guru. What is the importance of that guru? It's not ordinary. The contribution of guru to your life is extraordinary. if you find the right guru who makes you see your wholeness, you can't have anybody else doing that job which is higher than that guru. And if you really recognize the importance of that, what is your attitude towards that guru?
Respect.
You are
Reverence.
naturally respectful. Naturally. Because you see the enormity of this knowledge. Okay? That respect comes very naturally. Now, look at from the standpoint of the teacher, the difficulty of giving this knowledge. When you go to mathematics class, in whichever level you are, do you have any preconceived notions about what mathematics is? No. You go with a clean slate. And then whatever teacher says, you start absorbing and you build on that knowledge. But when you come to know the nature of I, how many notions you have about that I? You come loaded with notions about what that nature of I is. And very deeply entrenched notions. And as Ranjan is somebody else. Rajan was telling, right, that the minute the teacher says, now those notions are so deeply entrenched, and when the teacher contradicts what you have believed for very long time, what is your reaction? Are you going to be all embracing and say, oh yeah, the teacher is right, let me give up my notions? What happens?
Still resisting it.
There is a resistance. That resistance is something which is a natural defense mechanism. The minute I hear something which contradicts what I already believe in and I have invested in it, and then what happens? I want to almost reject it. Now the teacher has to recognize this tendency, and each one is coming up with their own notions about what I is. Everyone is coming up with their own resistance. Everybody is coming up with their own psychological baggage. And the teacher has to take everyone who's in the classroom and make them see what the teacher sees. Take them along. If you are too straightforward, I don't want to use a straightforward, but if you are too, sometimes you have to look that when you say something that may hurt another person. So you have to find ways to tell them what you want to communicate without creating that defensive side, manifesting the defensive side on.
Work intelligently.
Work intelligently. Work intelligently to communicate what needs to be communicated. Where everybody from wherever they are, they begin to get and they begin to move forward. And how long does it continue? Till the time that everything that the teacher has understood is transferred totally in your mind. Then the teacher's job is over. Because you become the whole. Okay? This is the level of difficulty in handling this subject matter the enormity of learning, if you understand, then teacher becomes what? Somebody that it is irreplaceable. The contribution of teacher in your life is irreplaceable. Okay? And this is what is inbuilt in Guru Shishya Parampara. Okay? Now, I want to show you the little bit of other side of this whole Guru Shishya Parampara. Unfortunately, what happens is, imagine the teacher doesn't know the reality too well or hasn't totally worked on oneself and still has some need for nurturing, nourishment, and begins to use that position of a guru in a way to either subtly manipulate or very, sometimes very, sometimes very, exactly, right? Or make the person feel small, or there are so many ways, or make the person feel dependent, or, once you have somebody's so-called trust, you can do what you want with that person. Right? So therefore, the guru, it's a huge responsibility. Huge. Because if you have not worked on yourself, what happens? Everybody starts respecting you, and whoever you are, there'll be always some person who buys into whatever you are saying. So then, when people start respecting you and people have their trust in you, you can just take them for a ride and start demanding respect. We saw Manito. Okay? So that is also, there is not only a responsibility of a student to see the value of what they are learning and respecting the teacher, but there is also equal responsibility on the teacher to do the job that they are meant to do and not go on a tangent. Inaccurate, sometimes it is not even, actively misguiding people or manipulating it. But if you haven't understood the subject matter clearly, you can create so many misconceptions. A lot of people, when we used to live in Bangkok, people used to come and ask us, because they go to some other talk and they read some spiritual books and all that, to be spiritual means you have to be detached from the world. And I've been able to detach myself more or less from things, but I'm not able to detach myself from my kids and from my husband, and so how do I detach myself? That is a question. I started by saying, show me one verse in Gita which is talking about detachment. There is not one verse. Where are all these ideas coming from? I have no idea. The only thing that Gita says is that love that you have for the people who you love gets mixed up with control. That's when that distortion starts. When you want to control the people that you love, loving is not a problem. Control becomes a problem. So what do you need to take care of?
Yourself.
you need to free your love from control. There is detachment here.
I think that word detachment is coming from that attachment which is why it's showing detachment. So the detachment is about the control or the attachment you hang on to a person.
So therefore, but the problem is people want to be disinterested. The way they understand it is that now I don't want to love the person and I have to be not interested in the person. I have to remove my emotions. Very important, because people, what you say as a teacher, people try to live by it. And I told them that, you know what, right now, most of the adults are suffering from lack of love. Now, in the name of detachment, whatever little love that you are showing, you stop showing that,
And then start suffering.
the whole society will become
Loveless.
totally loveless.
Problem society.
A problem which is problematic society. Guru is, so therefore when I correct it, people say, oh no, but then you're a purist. What purist? It's my job to give you right knowledge. Because what I'm going to say, you are going to try to live your life by that. If I give wrong ideas or if I let the wrong ideas go, what will happen? I'll create a society. I will actually be a contributor to a society which is a dysfunctional society. And I certainly don't want to do that. Certainly not. If I can't help somebody, I certainly don't want to confuse somebody. So therefore, whatever you speak, make sure that you have understood what you are speaking. If you assume the role of a teacher, it's your minimum responsibility to make sure that what you are telling, but take some time and make sure that what you have understood is accurate. Okay? There is Shastra which understands this problem. Our Shastra says, beautiful, it says Satyam Vada and Rutam Vada. What is the difference between Satyam and Rutam? Satyam is speaking what you know. Right? What I know is what I speak. I don't speak something other than what I know. That is called Satyam. What is Rutam? Rutam is, but ensure that what you understand is right. Because you can be speaking what you understand, but your understanding itself can be wrong. Speak. Before you speak, before you assume a given role, make sure that you deserve and that you do justice to that role. Okay? That also is a responsibility of a guru. When the student understands the importance of this teacher who is able to make you see your fullness, and when the teacher takes that responsibility and does the job well, imagine what it culminates into. If both have right attitude, if both have what? The right understanding of what it means, then it can lead to a very fruitful learning. And this chant that we do, Sahana Avatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvina Adhitam Astu Mavid Vishavahai. Both student and teacher, they chant. What do they chant? they chant, they don't take this learning as a kind of a casual thing. All of you have made a lot of effort to be here. Teacher has to respect that. And the teacher has also made a lot of effort to be here, prepare all the lessons and to impart it to you. But both of them are praying because there is a force out there which has actually brought us together. It's way beyond you and me. If you hear each one's story of how they landed up here, it's quite an interesting story. It's way beyond. Some of you I know from before, some of you I don't even know, I'm seeing for the first time. And somehow the universe has connected us. So, the same Ishvara who has connected us, we pray to that Ishvara that may you protect us. Saha now avatu. Now that we have come together, may both the teacher and student be protected. Do you only want to be protected? You also want to be nourished. Saha now bhunaktu. Nourish us. Nourish us with what? The student needs to be nourished with right attitude, right what? Application of mind, logic and everything, sharp alertness to be able to receive what the teacher is saying. The teacher has to be nourished because what? You can have a brilliant teacher, but imagine if the students are all like looking here and looking there and looking at the mobile and all. Do you think the teacher will feel inspired to talk? So therefore, one is very interesting. You ask any musician. A musician, when the musician is giving a concert, who is in the first row or first few rows, they will tell you. Right? Sometimes there are all these big events which are sponsored by some big companies. So there are executives who have got no knowledge of music, they'll all come and sit there. And then even though the performer is superb, what will happen? There is no inspiration only. But if in the audience there are people who understand music, who appreciate music, who have right expressions, what will the musician do?
Get inspired.
Get inspired and perform brilliantly. Right? So therefore, even the teacher is asking for that inspiration. Sometimes you have everything here, but the words don't come out. So teacher also has to ask not only for protection but for nourishment. The student has to ask for nourishment and teacher also has to ask for nourishment. Sahana avatu, sahanau bhunaktu. Saha viryam karavavahe. Let us both make effort. Right? So now somebody was asking me, so are you still learning? And I said, yeah, I'm constantly learning based on the feedback that I receive from the students. Constantly. Okay. So both have to make an effort. The student has to make an effort and the teacher has to make an effort. And for what? Tejasvina adhitam astu. Our study, may it be brilliant. And ma vidvishavahai. Let there not be any obstacle. The obstacles, what kind of obstacles?
Personal obstacle.
Excellent. There are 3 types of obstacles for which there are 3 types of Shantis. Om, Shantihi, Shantihi, Shanti. The first obstacle is centered on ourselves, which is what we call Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means what you are, let's say one day tired and you are sleepy in the class. No matter how much you are trying to pay attention, what happens? Right? Or something is bothering you at home and during the class, no matter how much you are trying to pay attention,
Thought is there.
that thought keeps coming to you. Right? And in this 1 hour of class, sometimes it's very interesting. There is 5 minutes of talk on something which applies to your life. Your whole class is gone into this 5 minutes and you missed everything else. And then you said, oh, I've learned so much. It's true. You may have learned the lesson you needed in this time, but actually what happened is 95% is missed. Right? So many obstacles where you don't even realize. Or as I told you, where you have one given problem from before when you come to this class and you only want to solve that problem. In that thinking about when that problem will be solved, you miss 100% of what is being said. Okay, so therefore there are so many intangible obstacles to learning. And you are asking for Shanti. Ask for it, because it's always possible. Make an effort. Prayer. I want minimum resistance centered on I. As far as possible. The second source of obstacle is Adhibhautika. Adhibhautika means your surroundings. Right? What are the surroundings? Let's say we are doing a class here and there is a lot of noise out there. And I do classes in Bombay. And Adhibhautika example is perfect there, right? Because in these rooms that I do classes, people have very fancy homes, and then there is air conditioning. Half the people want air condition and half the people don't want air condition. And half the class goes, everyone looking at the other and this and this. One day I have to say, now you first do this, then I'll talk. Because while I'm talking, the whole attention is what?
Feeling cold or hot.
Feeling cold and hot. And each one is making signals to the other.
Happens in our class.
Adhibhautika. And I said, here I'm talking about something I find out limitlessness and
Everybody is looking for limitless.
I can really understand where you come from. You're giving us the ultimate knowledge. We are concerned about these.
Yeah. So therefore, this is Adhibhautika obstacle. Right? And the third one is Adhidaivika. Adhidaivika is the things beyond our control. And one perfect example this time is exactly. The day before I started this retreat, I received a call from Rajan, and he says that my friend who was supposed to come from Chennai cannot come because the airports are closed. Adhidaivika. Who can envisage that? That at this time it's going to rain in Chennai, which is generally so deprived of rain, so much rain that airports are closed and the person can't make it. Adhidaivika. Way beyond our control. Okay? And all three obstacles can anytime come. So you pray for those obstacles not to be there. Okay? That's why it's a very, this relationship of Guru Shishya for Atma Jnanam it's an extraordinary relationship. Extraordinary. And in order to make the best of it, really both have to make an effort. So, but on this, here it's a value on part of the person who wants to know the knowledge. So therefore, Acharya Upasanam. Acharya Upasanam is, unless you have certain respect for this teacher, knowledge will not be transferred, cannot be transferred. Right? You come to Vedanta class and before you even listen to Vedanta, you say, now you prove to me that it's right. How? You have to sit and listen and you have to what? Give it a time. Think about it. See what the teacher is saying. See whether it makes sense or not. I loved, because I was asking Satish how is he liking it. And he says, yeah, by the time I finish the retreat, I'll understand everything.
Oh wow, you're good.
Which is lovely attitude. I'm not in a hurry. Right? I understand some may not be so clear, but by the time I finish, I will get it. Right? Not this, okay, now, you prove to me in the first class that Vedanta is going to solve my problem. No. And I want everything right now. No, cannot be. Okay. So that amount of confidence in the teacher and confidence in your own ability to learn. Acharya Upasana. The next value is Shaucha.
Sorry, interruption. The service to the teacher
Yeah.
often used up in a lot of ashrams. They're saying you do all the cleaning and you go to moksha.
That is exactly what I was saying. I didn't want to elaborate on that, but I was saying something like that. If the teacher has some, in this thing of nourishment or what, you can easily manipulate people when they have your trust. So this is respect, yeah. And out of that respect, whatever you can do, it comes naturally. But if you begin to, actually I knew somebody who was teaching and he invited me to his house. So I went there and he had these 4 students who were staying with him and they were studying with him. Right? So after the class was 1 hour, after the class was over, one was washing his clothes, the other one was washing the dishes, the third one was cleaning the house, which is fine, right? But if it becomes a demand, then what?
So what concerned me was this issue was that very, very senior people, educated people in industry, say I go Sunday, do volunteering work. Why? Because I think if I stick to him, I do moksha. I'll get what I want. But there's no learning, this part is missing.
Absolutely.
That's the basic
So
learning of what that is missing.
This is exactly what I said, the teacher's responsibility. If I make you believe that by doing this free work you will get moksha and you buy that, then what?
You believe that
Yeah.
with a lot of sincerity.
Absolutely, exactly. Right? So this is where it is exactly, it's a responsibility. You have to think. Right? And I also have to, the teacher who is becoming a teacher also has to be a a person who actually has learned things. Otherwise, so many inaccurate ideas and it becomes a perfect situation for what? Abuse.
Exploitation.
Yeah, exploitation.
Neema, can I ask you, are Guru and Acharya two synonyms? Are they the same, Guru and Acharya? Because
See, sometimes you can make, the Acharya can be a Guru, but See, a guru, I feel, I don't know, maybe Surya has something else to say. But Acharya is, for example, somebody may not have totally, like I think a lot of people were asking me, that let's say you have one guru and you have 5 students, right? Not everybody has really totally understood the subject matter. Right? Any school you go to, you always have people who's different levels of understanding, right? So now imagine the person who has not totally understood, right, is becoming an acharya. Is not totally capable of removing the total ignorance, because the person is himself or herself is in the process of removing their own ignorance, right? But the person still knows more than somebody else. So that person is an acharya who can actually help the other person remove whatever that little ignorance that they need to remove, but may not be totally capable of removing the whole thing. Right? So acharya, there can be many. Guru, real guru, there are few.
And this prayer that you have, is it for just this shiksha or any shiksha? If whether I say I want to teach something which is not related to the Vedanta, can I say this
Oh yeah,
prayer?
sure. There are a lot of schools where actually they start teaching with this prayer, so there is no problem. Yeah, you can use this prayer because it's nothing to do with only Vedanta. It's both teacher and student are asking for clarity, for nourishment, and asking that they make an effort to understand, and then asking for shanti for all the obstacles that can be there. So it's a universal prayer. For any learning you can use this.